More!
Lunch break!
Hey guys, we have a very special guest on this episode. It's Victoria Park. This is actually the first time Victoria's been on lunch break.
It only took them 100 episodes to ask me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
She's been very busy, okay? This is also a very special episode because it's sponsored by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, a website, or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace.
Squarespace is great because they have award-winning templates, all in one platform. They have 24/7 customer service, domains, and it's very flexible for any website.
As a matter of fact, we actually just dropped our new website. It's kind of a revamp, and we use Squarespace.
Chris actually designed it. It looks great, Chris.
Good
You
job,
did a
Chris.
great job.
Yeah,
job.
I think I did okay.
Did,
I
like-
have to say I've never seen your old website.
It's
Sorry.
old and it's been around since 2003.
Did the internet exist back
Maybe
then?
earlier.
That's
It
like so
didn't.
long ago.
Yeah.
Do you have a website?
I do have a website.
Do you ever have like people like commenting on your stuff trying to like get at you? Or like trying to ask you out on a date or something?
It's not happened on my blog.
But it's happened other
This
places.
happened on social media.
It's crazy how you can just meet people online these days, like complete strangers, new relationships.
Yeah.
It's safe to say online dating is a thing now. I don't have much experience with online dating, but I assume everyone I meet now is either on an app, has been on an app.
Is dating someone who they got on an app.
Yeah. It's just that stigma is definitely not there, I think, anymore.
It's definitely diminishing. I know there's a lot of people that still are hesitant.
Yeah,
I
and-
know even.
They want to really meet that person like face to face and
Is that
the
why you're-
old-fashioned way, right?
Is that why you're not on it?
I just haven't had the opportunity to like go on and make a profile and blah blah blah.
To each their own.
Exactly.
Perfect.
I've heard a lot of success stories. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I feel like that stigma. I remember when I used to like be like, "Whoa, online dating, that's not legit." Or I guess like the stigma is that people used to think it was like a desperation, like oh, like you can't meet someone.
There was the two websites. There was always eHarmony, and then there was Match.com. It's funny because we're kind of going kind of back in history because like there used to be like this prominence of matchmakers, and I think some people saw these websites as, oh, maybe we'll let like a third party kind of like, you know, match two people. I guess kind of that's where it began.
A dating app is no different than, you know, it's like, oh, my mutual friend, let me introduce you to a mutual friend I have. And that person that's introducing you, their name is the internet.
I don't know if that makes me feel any better because I can't vouch for the internet's
Right.
ability to judge character.
But in a way, you have more control now, you know? That's the argument. Like, you're actually in control of what you're choosing and the stuff you're filtering through, right? What is your take?
I don't know. I think dating apps are really hard. I don't have a ton of experience from my 2 weeks of experience on an app. I feel like it's just really easy to show a certain side of yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel like you're actually really meeting someone in
Yeah.
like the real. I guess you can do it in the real world.
The
too,
culture is
but-
very different, and the order of
Yeah.
operations is very different. My worry is 2 weeks experience, because if we're talking about 2 weeks, and I think I've had an account that has existed
Longer than that.
for maybe that time.
What app?
That's one of those, you know, one of them.
One of those. Oh, that's
One
cool.
of
That's a
those.
cool name for an app.
One of those. No, but my worry is actually just blending in, like just another swipe, you know.
Yeah.
But then that also depends on what app you're using, I
Right.
guess.
More these days, people have kind of latched onto the pros of online dating.
Well, also, like, I feel like I used to just think it was for old people because of
Oh.
because if you think about like the eHarmony commercial, or I forget
Yeah.
if it's eHarmony or Match.com, it's always like two older people and they're like dancing
In the
and
white
like
background?
Yeah, in the white background, and there's like that song playing from like the Parent Trap.
Oh my god, that's what I was thinking too.
So I always thought it was for like old, like lame people.
So online dating has become more young, which has made it really popular. I think one of the pros is that, especially living in LA, is that everyone's so fragmented here or so far apart. It's actually really hard to meet people in person or new people.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's not as frequent, and I feel like we're so like impatient too. Like we kind of want to have interaction very quickly. So maybe online dating seems like the best place to do that. And meeting people like 10 people a day sometimes, right? It's kind of
Wow,
crazy.
10 people a day.
That's a lot of people.
That's
just
a
like
lot of
regular.
people. I usually only see like 5 people,
You see-
6 people a day, and they're all
Wait,
at
do you
Walter.
count like
Yep.
people that you're like people on the app that you're actually talking to, or just like people that you're seeing, like faces? Do you count that as meeting someone?
I guess I meant choices.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot. I'm like, how many girls are you talking to?
I
Taylor?
get so many matches, bro.
One of the pros is being able like to
Frequency.
sort of like it makes time like out of your day to be able to.
Oh yeah,
like,
people are
meet
so career oriented. They don't feel like they have
Yeah,
time
yeah,
to go
yeah.
out.
Sure.
So they, it's like, oh, I can just swipe on my
Right.
phone.
It's just exposure and volume.
But
You
I
just-
feel like
given like, hey, you might want to be friends with this person. Like that's kind of cool.
I feel like that's also a negative too, though, because then people just like they just want to talk, but they don't actually want it to go anywhere because they don't have time. So have you guys ever?
Yeah,
come
that's
up
happened.
On
That's
that,
happened, yeah.
where it's just like that's like all they need to like feel like they're in a relationship or something, and then you never actually take it further.
Like that relationship just stays online.
Just stays
in the
online,
web.
texting, and like that doesn't do it for me. Like if you don't make a move within like a couple, I don't know, conversations.
Ooh, there's some rules.
Yeah, we're talking about some
Talking about
ground
some
rules.
rules
right?
now.
Yeah, for me personally, I just like I like when guys are like very forward and like intentional.
Chris, get over here.
This is great, guys.
kidding. This is an app right now.
This is an app.
Very
yeah.
forward.
And I feel like if you don't like speak up right away, then I'm like, well, you're probably not like
Yeah.
that in real life either.
Yeah.
Stop it.
To back up a little bit, I feel like the fact that there's these rules is kind of a downer to like meeting someone. You know, like the fact that you have to put rules to it. So I think within the platform of online dating, a con is that these rules that are established that are unsaid, and if you don't fit those rules, then you're kind of like out.
I think there's rules also in face-to-face.
Yeah, there's rules in regular dating too. Like some people
There's
don't
no
ever.
rules.
They're not, I don't think
They're meant to be broken. No, you're right.
I also think
Sad
people do try to avoid face-to-face because they're more scared about like their safety. Like I have a lot of girls on dating apps that are like, okay, I'm not gonna rush into face-to-face because I want to make sure this guy's not like
A creep.
a creep.
Well, I think that's a good point though, because I feel like online dating is a lot harder for women.
Uh,
For me personally, like it feels. I guess it could feel this way for guys too, but it just feels like, oh, you're only getting to know me because of my picture. That already like has me like have a wall up to you. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to someone that maybe I've like talked to and I'm like, oh, maybe they like me because of me. Instead of
Probably applies more to like certain apps that you don't have to provide much information, like specifically like Tinder.
In any kind of online dating though, it's like you can't expect anyone to be attracted to the real me
This is me now.
because how much can you fit in a profile? Like even if it's super descriptive, even if your pictures are like really diverse in their range and spectrum of like experiences, that's still what you want them to know, and it doesn't show your flaws, or maybe it does, but until you actually have like several dates, you're not gonna get a feel for that person. If you're in the world of online dating, just know that they're judging you for what you put out, and that's it, and that's totally fair.
it's also a generalization a little bit. There's definitely people on there that aren't judgmental. That's why it's also important to like go to face-to-face as soon as possible.
So it's just the way we started.
You just use it as a mechanism to like meet someone and leave it all up.
Yeah.
Leave it all outside of the app.
Like
Face-to-face
treat it like
conversation.
a very popular bar that you go to for happy hour.
oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
An app is just a bar.
And you don't always have to drink there. Maybe you're just gonna walk by and be like, you know what, today I don't really feel like going to that bar.
That's the best analogy.
That makes me actually want
Thanks,
to try
guys.
it now because it
Should we
takes
just-
away a lot of the stigma.
It has the cons of a bar too, which
It
makes
does.
it a good analogy.
Which is still superficial. I'm saying it's a good analogy because
Doesn't
it's
mean
like,
there's not good people in there, but there's some people that are very superficial. You match with someone and you start having a conversation, and it's about time to meet up with them. Where do you like normally have that first face-to-face, or like what kind of situation is best for that first meetup?
I would like to hear what you guys have to say.
How long have we been talking?
2 weeks.
Have I heard her voice or seen her animated features?
Let's say that you actually exchanged in the chat. You exchanged like social media handles.
Facebook.
Okay,
And
so I've done my stalking.
Okay, so
And
you
now you guys
stalk her.
know each other.
And they have like videos
both
and
people
stuff.
have done their stalking.
Yeah,
It's never,
both
it's never,
people have done
never
their
just one
stalking.
side.
Do you ever get sad if like you stalked and then they haven't?
How do you know that?
I don't know.
I don't assume they've stopped.
How do
That's
you know
good.
if someone
I don't
stalked you?
assume they stalk, but when they start bringing up certain questions about it, it's like,
Girls
okay.
always stalk.
That's
what I
for,
heard
and
girls
for
always
safety.
Yeah.
Is that
Guys do
right?
too for safety.
Right.
I mean, if you give them your social handle,
Yeah.
then it's research.
Well, once they say, "What's your full name?" You're like, "Okay, you're gonna look it up." I better filter some stuff before I give it to you.
Give me
Give me an hour. Give me an hour.
private.
Back to your question, it would probably be something that they have to do anyways, and then I'd find something in the area. I think like a Target is great.
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
Like errands.
Like
Like
you,
running
like
errands.
hey, do you want to go to?
He was saying, I think naturally, like you would get ask him what they're doing that day. He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I have stuff to do too." And
We should do it together. Gentle segue.
Obviously would not work on Victoria.
I'd be like, no, why?
She's like, wait, is this a joke? Because I don't get it.
I want action. I want forwardness.
I will say that if you're going into it like interested and like attracted romantically, like with the potential of romantic attraction, it should be considered and give them at least 2 days notice and make it an event and not like, oh, I'll be in the area.
Yeah, no, that you don't want to be passive.
You want to be intentional, but not like crazy creepy.
If it were like, oh, we've been talking for like a month, okay, let's meet up. Then I'd probably approach it more like, oh, it should be something that's very planned, like it's a date,
Oh, that's good.
restaurant, bar.
Do you think it like creates a like, I don't know, like a numbness or like a sort of
When you go
like
on too
maybe
many
like
dates?
maybe it's actually like detrimental to your dating life because then it's like, oh well, like there's always someone else out there.
For sure.
So like now there's just gonna be this generation of people that like never meet anyone because their expectations are too high.
No, I think that's one of the pitfalls of online dating, for sure.
Because it's like a buffet. It's like
Too much choice.
So many choices.
Right.
If you're aware of that, then I think you can prevent that from happening. So if someone is good and right in front of you and it's like, maybe not perfect, but someone that's like worth committing to or trying out longer, I think you shouldn't be running away too soon. Or you might be more willing to give that a shot if you're aware that most people fall into that trap. I think there's a lot of success stories that come out of online dating these days.
Has anyone had a success story?
I've had close friends that have met, dated, gone married. Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of family members are getting married from online dating.
Yeah.
It's actually encouraging too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's good people out there.
It's one of those things, the more you fight it thinking you're above it or that you want to be old-fashioned or whatever, it's just going to limit you. I think having an open mind is always the best way.
I think you just kind of have to, be flexible and be open to different things. On top of like all the, obviously there's pitfalls and like being safe and everything, but I think like in terms of going into it, being open and being yourself, I feel like if you create an image of yourself, sooner or later people are going to realize that and people are going to make a judgment off of that. And usually those ones probably don't do too well.
People that you do judge, like let them be them and they're going to attract the type of people that they want and be happy for them, like
Yeah.
they're kind of putting it out there because it might not be for you, but for someone else might
somebody
love
else.
that,
And thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode. 10% off your first purchase. Go to squarespace.com/wongfu.
Yep, all you gotta do is use the offer code WONGFU at checkout.
Also, thank you, Victoria, for joining us on lunch break.
Yay!
Yay!
So much funs and insight.
Yay! Thanks, guys.
In case it wasn't clear, Victoria's been in a bunch of our short films and even our movie, our very first movie, Everything Before Us, she was lead, a very close friend and family member of the WONGFU Network.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, she's doing big things, so follow her in all those links down below.
I hope you guys enjoyed this lunch break. We have lunch breaks every Thursday, so please subscribe and see you next time.
Yeah!
Bye.